I'm back. Well, I've changed my mind. I was worried about, you know, dragging this video out, but I thought I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep chatting for those who like long videos and want to hear me chatting. And for those of you who just want to get to the point, you're more than welcome to just skip ahead to, you know, catch up to where I'm doing something else a bit later down the track and we've got past all of this fiddly stuff if you don't want to watch it. So, yeah, I was saying about Clyde that we got him home and they were fine. They get on really well. They're closely bonded now. Of course, Bennett's 14 and Clyde is now 12. And sorry for the noise. Clyde's quite a big dog. He's a fair bit bigger than Bandit. Bandit's a medium-sized dog. And Clyde's very chunky as well. And we were really worried about his weight because you don't want to have an overweight dog. It's bad for their health, and particularly as they get older, it's bad for their joints in terms of arthritis. Just having to carry around excess weight puts a lot more pressure on their joints. So we were really worried about his weight. We tried to cut his food down because he's quite a chunky boy. At our most recent trip to the vet, and he weighs last testing 38 kilos, which, sorry, I don't know offhand what that is in pounds. Yeah, so, and the vet said that he's actually not really that much overweight that we thought he was, because he's a solid dog, and the blue heeler in him, they have a very broad chest anyway, and they do have a tendency to put weight on really quickly and sort of hang on to that weight. So the vet said, look, he's not really too worried about his size. He's still reasonable, and we've just got to keep an eye on his weight from now on so that he doesn't continue to get any bigger and, you know, becomes obese. So yeah, there's our two boys. They get on really well. They're very well bonded, but occasionally they do have a fight out in the yard over jealousy, over, you know, someone's got a toy or and the other one wants it, or a stick. And my husband has to jump out there and break it up, and usually he will throw a bucket of water over them. That really helps. Clyde in particular hates being wet. He hates the water. You see how that's a little bit wonky, but I don't think it matters that much. It's not that bad. You put something in it and it doesn't show that much. So now I'm going to do the handle, which will, it looks funny at the moment, but it'll be right. So you put it inside like that and we'll sit up like that, but because it's still fairly thin and you've got these bits here that aren't together very well, what I did with the other one is I cut some cardboard to that size. I've done this one a little bit long, so I'll snip that off where I want it to be. And I will put the cardboard in there as a stabilizer, which will help it hold its shape when it's sitting up. And then I will put some more of the braiding on the inside to hide the cardboard and also to give it more sturdiness. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. while I chatter. Yeah, so talking about the dogs, they've both been reasonably healthy most of their life. We haven't had any major health problems with them, which is really good. Except recently we found out that, we found a tumour in his belly, and that was really scary. Oops, I think I've not done that very well. I'll put the glue here. Yeah, on rainy days, if they've been outside and their feet are wet, we have to wipe their feet when they come inside because we have carpet. And on this particular day I was wiping his feet, and I just happened by accident to brush my hand past his belly, which is near his thigh, and felt this hard lump. And so I had a sort of investigative, feel of it, and realised it's quite large and extends quite a fair way into his belly. So yeah, that was really upsetting, and I know that generally speaking, if a lump is soft and palpable and you are able to move it around under the skin, it's not always, but generally benign. There's no cancer. But if it is really hard, solid, and you aren't able to move it, then that is an indication that it is cancer. Again, not always, but mostly. So we took him up to the vet and had him checked over. The vet did a needle aspiration, I think that's what it's called, where they take out some fluid from in the centre of the tumour. And the vet said if it comes out clear, then it's generally I've forgotten what that's called, lipoma, I think it is, which is like a fatty, like a cyst. And then they're nothing to worry about. They're just something that old dogs get. And I might just put this cardboard on the inside as well, make it sturdier. So she did that with the needle, and then she took that needle and she went into another room, and she said, I'm just going to have a look at this. I'll put this on a slide and have a look at it under the microscope. And my daughter was with me, and we were both like, oh no, what's she going to say? And she was gone quite a while, which, makes you stress out even more, because you think, oh, she's found something really bad. And yeah, well, it's the next day. The memory card ran out, and I then had to go and upload what I'd already filmed and clear the memory card. And then our daughter dropped in to visit, so I didn't manage to get back to this until now, so it's the next morning. So I continue on from where I left off, which was gluing on some cardboard to the handle, to the inside part of the handle, so that it will make it stronger. And I was telling you about our dog Clyde. I watched some of it back last night and realised I hadn't said who I was actually talking about. So I was talking about Clyde at the vet, having found a tumour. And so, as I was saying, she took a needle aspiration and took that into another room to have a look under the microscope. And she was gone for quite a while, and daughter and I were really worried. And she eventually came back in. And when she came back into the room, she closed the door behind her, whereas previously it had been open. And my heart really sunk then, because I thought she's got some really bad news to tell us. And she wants to do it in private. So yeah, and she said that she wasn't sure, but she it seemed to her that she'd found some very nasty looking abnormal cells in that sample that she'd taken out of the centre of the tumour. And so she said then what she wanted to do was send the slide to the lab, and we've got too much glue there now, and get some proper results, a proper diagnosis on it, I guess. Well, that being the Friday, we then had to wait the whole weekend to get the answer, and of course we worried like crazy over the weekend. It was just really nerve-wracking. Called up first thing on Monday, and she said that she advised that we come in person to speak about his what they'd found, and what am I trying to say? Stop fiddling with the glue. He lost my train of thought, sorry. Yeah, she wanted us to come in person and talk about what they'd found and where we go from there. So again, my daughter took me, because I can't drive anymore. She drove me up there and came in with me, and we took Clyde along with us as well. And at this time we saw the head vet of the surgery, who is a very experienced veterinary surgeon, who is a really nice bloke as well. And with him you're going to get the facts straight out in front of you. He doesn't mince his words or muck around, but he's a very good vet and very good with the animals. So we spoke with him, and he went into lengthy detail about the fact that the tumour is cancer. And just check that that's still filming. Yes, it is cancer, but very, very fortunately it's a type of cancer that will stay localised within that tumour itself. It's not going to spread out to the rest of... Concentrate, Virginia. Do this. No, I'll do the outside first while that dries inside. It's not going to spread around his body. So he said this is this cancer is not going to kill him. That's not going to be the cause of his death. So that was a really huge relief. But we then needed to talk about keeping him comfortable, and whether we go ahead with surgery or not to remove it. And he said, look, he could remove it. He's done so in other dogs before, and he even showed us photos on his mobile phone of a recent surgery he'd done of exactly the same type of tumour in a German Shepherd dog. And he said his advice is to leave it for as long as possible, because at the moment, while it's not interfering with his quality of life or preventing him from walking comfortably or, just having his everyday life, it's not making it impossible for him to get around. And he said it shouldn't be causing him any discomfort apart from the fact that it's there and it's probably a bit annoying. So that was really a real relief to know that. And he said, look, it's up to you. You decide whether we take it out or not. He said, I can do it. It's no problem. The fact of his age isn't a problem, because I was really worried that being an older dog, he wouldn't handle the anaesthetic very well, and, it could be very dangerous for him. So he said, no, that's not an issue at all. It wasn't a terribly lengthy surgery because of the tumour being contained within that one area. It's a simple fact of go in and get it out and close up. It's not sort of going searching for how far it's spread and all of that, and there's no sort of chemotherapy in that involved, so really big relief. And he said to us, actually, nobody is going to judge you badly if you decide to just leave it. And so we thought about it and said, yeah, at this stage we'll see how it goes. So we decided with the vet that we would do a wait and see, and just follow his progression. It will grow, so it will increase in size, but again, you know, it won't spread. So he said, let's just see how he goes at this stage, keep an eye on its growth, and if it gets to the stage where he is very uncomfortable and can't walk properly because of the size of it. And he said these things can get huge. They can get so big that it'd be like carrying a woman's pregnant belly around, you know, in the size of the lump. And he said, of course, that's going to interfere with their movement quite a bit. So fortunately, it's only grown a little bit so far. It's noticeable now, so you can see it visually, whereas before, you know, you only knew it was there if you felt it. But that has been 8 months since we last, you know, had that meeting with the vet. So yeah, so far he seems okay. He's not terribly distressed about it at all, really. He's just a normal happy dog. He does lick at it sometimes because it must be annoying him that it's something there that he's aware of, but yeah, he said it shouldn't be painful at all and it's okay to leave it. So huge relief after all of that drama. So with these lipomas, they're, like I said before, they're like a fatty cyst, or, yeah, I suppose like a fatty cyst, a collection of fat cells that form a lump, which most dogs get as they get older. They get these little lumpy things all over their body the older they get, and Clyde has a lot of those, benign ones, and Bandit has them as well. But this type of tumour that Clyde has that is cancerous is apparently very rare. But the vet said that, you know, if you, not that you want it to happen, but he said if your dog's going to have cancer, you would want, you know, him to have that type of cancer because that's got the best prognosis. So yeah, fantastic. So now, yeah, it's just a matter of keeping an eye on him and Bandit as well, just in case he should, you know, in the rare event that he might develop one as well. We're keeping an eye on his smaller lipomas. He's got one on the side of his body, on his rib cage. There's someone at the gate. I've just got to go for a sec. This is one of those classic cases of my memory problem. That was hubby coming back from the shop. He told me he was going. He told me he would be a few minutes, apparently. He's just told me again now. And I forgot. Panicked and thought, oh, someone strange is coming in the front gate. So, there we are with the handle. I'm going to, because I ran out of these, which I've been using, I'm going to now use a different lace, braid, whatever you call it, to just line the inside of it so that it takes away that shocking ugliness. So I'll do that now. Forgot where I was. I think I was just talking about the boys. Oh yeah, I was talking about Bandit's lump on his rib cage that he's had for many years now, and it's like an egg under his skin, and it's sort of soft and squishy, and you can move it around under his skin. And the vet said not a problem at all. It's just something that happens. I can't remember exactly, but it's something like they develop excess fat cells as they get older, which apparently can happen in humans as well. And I think it's that the body's reaction to these fat cells floating around and serving no real purpose is that they get encapsulated into I'll probably not explain this very well at all. Probably best to look it up on Google if you really want to know the answer correctly. But my sort of simple take on it is that the body's way of dealing with it is to sort of shove it together in one sort of capsule and leave it there so that it's not, running around in the bloodstream or interfering with other organs and things like that. So that's that's what both dogs have. Quite a few of these sort of egg looking lumpy things. They come in all sizes. They've got sort of really small ones and some that are no bigger than an egg, and of course Clyde's cancerous one is humongous. So yeah, that's where it is with the dogs. The other thing that they do have, which when I finally show you the boys, we refer to them as the boys, you will notice Bandit has something on his head that looks like an oversized tick. It's not particularly flattering, but it's these sort of little warty growths that they also get as they get older, and any of you who've had an old dog will know that these things happen to them as they get older. So he's got sort of this protruding warty thing on his head that doesn't look too great, but it's not bothering him at all. It's not cancerous, and the vet said that he could take it off, but it's really not important, and why pay for a huge anaesthetic and all of that stuff at the vet when he can just live with it okay. So with this, I've now supported it with the cardboard. I've lined it so that it looks nicer. You yourself, if you are going to do this, you might sort of want to make it look even prettier than that. I like things to be fairly plain so that I can put whatever I want in there and it's not going to clash with the actual basket. But you might want to put flowers all over it, or pretty pink laces and things like that. That's totally up to you if you decide to do this at all. What I do with this, just to make sure the corners are sort of a little bit straighter, you can just squish it like that, and it's it's firm, but it's still sort of what I call squishable. And then it's just a matter of taking the handle and gluing it inside. So I'll sort of get an idea of how high I want the handle, whether I want it sort of really low like the other basket, or up a bit higher. I think I probably like it like that, so I can have, oh, that glue gun is hot. Just in case you didn't know, I like it sort of that height, so I can have things that sit underneath there and are not going to interfere with it or it interfere with them. So try and sort of get it in a central location. Dab some more glue on and stick it down and hope that it stays. Yeah, I said that this glue gun is really good, much better than the other one, but it's getting a little temperamental now. I see that sometimes the glue will come out in a very small amount, and then another time it'll come out in a big blob. And that doesn't really have anything to do with the amount of pressure I put on the handle either. It's just like I'm squeezing that really hard now and hardly anything came out. But you just deal with what you have to deal with, what you've got, don't you? Yeah, the weather's much nicer today. It's much calmer and it's warmer than it has been in several days. So the boys are outside at the moment doing their morning constitutional. And they'll stay there for probably an hour or two maybe, depending on the weather. So they can run around, stretch their legs, get some exercise. There. And there it is. That's how you make one of those baskets. I'll just unplug this. So, what do you think? Gorgeous mess with all these little bits of glue. Yeah, so like I said, you could put flowers or pretty ribbons or whatever you like on it, and I think it'll look alright. Might stick some daisies in there, might make some different daisies that are taller and have there. You can put anything in them really. You could even put a plant in there if you know, if you had it in a saucer so it wasn't going to dribble water all over the lace. That would look alright. So there it is, my lace basket. So I hope you enjoyed that. I realised looking at the film that I had done already so far that this is going to be a really long video. So I might split it up into parts actually, so that it's sort of a little bit easier to deal with in chunks instead of all at once. For those of you who really like long videos and chatting and that, this one's for you. And for those of you that don't want all of that and you just want the details, I'll consider maybe doing a speeded up, as I was saying, I'll consider doing a speeded up version so that, you know, with written instructions so that you can get through it really quickly. But the thing is, I don't know how to do that at this stage. So I need to look into how to do that. But you don't need to know all that now. All you need to know is there's my basket. That's how I made it. And I hope you give it a go yourself. Okay. Bye for now.